Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Boy, oh boy, it's been a while, huh? What can I tell you? And it's interesting. In one of my videos, I had a guy who commented to me and he said, stop talking so much. Get to the point. So I'm going to try and take that advice, take that feedback, and do a little less talking, or certainly less talking that doesn't mean anything. In terms of it being a while, man, life happens, things go. None of us doing this podcasting, YouTube stuff. Few of us are professionals, I guess. Most of us are doing this out of passion. We want to do it. We want to see how it works out. Want to try and learn something, whatever. And, when I started into this Speed Kolor thing, and if any of you have been with me for the whole run, you'll know that when I started, I had this idea that I could record the audio and video same time, and then just split the audio as an audio podcast and have the video as a YouTube video. For certain episodes, that worked okay. It worked okay. It worked fine. But what I learned, and fairly quickly, was that trying to describe things, through the audio podcast, when the listener couldn't see what we were talking about, didn't work all that well. Didn't work well at all. And I thought, okay, what do I do here? And I've been struggling with it for a while, and I've been working on another project that I'll talk about in a minute. And I've been working on stuff, and I've finally come to the conclusion that audio podcasts need to be audio podcasts. And that's what you're listening to right now, is my first true audio podcast. Video, or things that have images or action or whatever it is, things that are not easy to describe or convey, those things need to be YouTube videos. They are separate, and in what I'm trying to do, I don't think combining them, trying to do them at the same time, I don't think it's working well, and it's frustrating me, and I think I need to get away from that. So what I'm going to do is I am now going to start recording what I consider true audio podcasts. They will be me, for the most part, speaking, giving you information, opinions, stories, whatever it is that I have. And I will record me talking. I will do a video of that. Where am I going to use that video? Apple Podcasts now has a video option, and no, I don't think anybody's real sure where that's going yet. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. But I'm going to record the video just because it seems that some people, maybe a lot of people, enjoy seeing who's talking when they have a screen available. Obviously, if you're driving your car and you just want to listen, that's when audio podcasts are really good, because they don't need you to see things. But if you're working in the garage, putzing around, doing whatever, you got the audio on in the background, but on the screen, you can, if you've got a TV in your shop, you can have that video of the person talking. So it's no different than watching the news or watching an interview on a news channel or something like that, where it's not action, it's not instructive or anything like that, but you get to see the people who are talking. So I am going to record it. I will not put it up as a YouTube video because of the way the audio podcasts work and the way Buzzsprout works in its distribution. It will link the audio podcast over with the box art. I think that's what they call it. With the artwork, my logo, but it won't show you the video. I believe probably the only place the video is going to come up is in this new Apple podcast video, and I don't have that set up yet, so I don't know when that's going to happen. So these are pretty much true audio podcasts. And in that vein, I will tell you, I am not going to show any graphics, any images. I'm not going to cut to a chart or statistics or anything like that. This is going to be strictly audio, nothing that you need to see, if I can put it that way. So that's what I'm going to do. The other thing I was going to tell you about, and you may have seen this on Instagram, or I did throw the elevator pitch video up on YouTube. There is a program that TELUS, for those of you outside of the country, TELUS is one of our communications providers, cable TV, security systems, internet, and what else? Mobile phones. So TELUS is a big company. They're community minded. They do a lot of neat things in the community. One thing they do is called Story Hive. And Story Hive is a way for TELUS to support what they call emerging creators, which I guess I'm one of. I'm an emerging creator. So this supports people who are getting into making video, and it's not just YouTube stuff. There's different programs, different levels. Podcasting is part of it as well. There's a bunch of different stuff. And they take applications, and then for these different programs, they select a certain number of people. It's all based on how many users they have in certain areas and all that kind of stuff, because there is there's obviously a cost to TELUS to do all of this. And with this Story Hive and the different programs, it runs through the year. There's different deadlines for applications. The different programs are staggered across the year. So I had applied for the podcast one, and I wasn't selected for that, although I did get some feedback that they liked my idea. I just didn't get selected for whatever reason. So I applied for a different program called Voices, which in the first season is a 6-episode series on a local community topic, if you will. So in my case, I went with the local motorcycle community, and I'm going to showcase or feature 6 personalities in the Calgary motorcycle community. And these are going to be people that I think are special, exceptional, fundamental. These are people that I think are really key to our motorcycle community, and that I think everybody will acknowledge are pretty significant in what they do. So that's what I'm going to do. That was my proposal. I got accepted with this program. There's training sessions. I have 5 training sessions in July. So they certainly don't just turn you loose. There's a lot to learn. So we have the training sessions, then we go into production in August. Production runs August, September. Anyway, first draft or first cut of an episode, doesn't have to be the first one, but of an episode is due mid-November. And then they critique you, take a look at it, tell you what you got to fix. what's acceptable, what's not, if that's the case. I mean, the whole thing might be good. And then you have to have over January, February, March, the 6 episodes are due. So it's pretty good. There's time to do it, but you do have to stay at it. It's a commitment. They estimate that you need to put in 15 hours a week into doing this. So it is a commitment. It's quite a project, but I'm really excited to have been selected. I think it's great. I think it's going to be good exposure for the motorcycle community. And just so you know, the episodes air on Optic TV, I believe they call it, right across, well, Alberta and BC for sure. Don't know if it reaches any of the other Western Canadian provinces, but for sure Alberta and BC. So on the community channels, that's where it airs. It's also on the Story Hive YouTube channel, which is really good. And then, of course, after TELUS airs it or premieres it maybe, after they've shown it, then I have the rights to show it as I wish. So it'll be up on my channel after TELUS has taken a run at it. Anyway, really good stuff. Really appreciate TELUS. Great program. There is a grant involved. If you're interested in this kind of thing, check it out. Look at the different programs and what it takes to apply. And it's a serious process, but I think it's going to be really, really good. And I'm hoping that I'll get a whole bunch more out of it that I can apply to my podcasts and YouTube videos. So that's Story Hive. On to YouTube videos. I talked about audio podcasts. I am going to continue to do YouTube videos, but now I'm going to have a little more freedom. So take, for example, the van, getting it ready to haul a motorcycle, the way I'm building it, the things I'm doing there. I'm going to continue to do those videos. And I'm not sure if they're going to have the Build Stuff logo on them or if they're just going to be Speed Kolor, but there will be YouTube videos for products, processes, maybe custom painting. I may show some stuff, even though I'm not a professional custom painter. I do some stuff that I think looks okay, and maybe somebody can take some tips from it. I don't know. Ride videos. Ride videos seem to be really popular. People like seeing, I guess, landscape, different areas geographically. Maybe they're thinking about traveling or whatever, so it's good that way. I think generally, motorcyclists and any group of people enjoy seeing other people in their interest doing stuff and pursuing their hobby or whatever you want to call it. So I will continue to do YouTube videos. I'd like to do some ride video. I want to do some event coverage. Want to do a bunch of stuff. So those are the 3 areas I'm working on. An audio podcast, which is True Audio, my Story Hive project, and doing YouTube videos. And I'm not going to set a schedule at this point because I'm going to do my best, everybody. But this is a learning process for sure. Okay, that's what I wanted to tell you about. What's happening with the channel and everything. Now, let's jump into something different. So how's your season starting off? Season here, I'll tell you, has been, it's been wet. It's been wet and chilly, which is not surprising. It's Calgary. June is our wettest month in Calgary. March is our snowiest month, and June is our wettest month. So June's been a little bit rough for us. May 23rd, I was at the Kane's 69th birthday party. Man, they nailed it. Mick and Dan over at Kane's absolutely nailed it. The weather was perfect for the start of summer. We had a beautiful day, great turnout. They barbecued, fed a lot of people. There was live music. We had fun. It was a really, really good event. We really enjoyed it. So hats off to them, and 69 years in business. That's 7 decades serving the Calgary market. Congratulations, Mick. Good job, buddy. Mick hasn't owned it since its conception, but Mick's owned it for a long time. And we're going to learn more about Mick down the road, but I'll tell you more about that later. So anyway, we started off at the 69th birthday party at Kane's, and really enjoyed that. Had a great turnout. Then we moved into June, and that's when things got a little tougher. I understand that Two Wheel Sunday, which I didn't attend this year, unfortunately, the weather forecast did not look good. But they forged ahead as they always do. Bobby ran with it. New location, which is always a challenge. Apparently, weather was really good in the morning, and that's very typical Calgary spring. Mornings are beautiful. If you're going to go for a ride, go in the morning. But rain came in the afternoon, dampened spirits a little bit maybe, but they carried on with the show. And overall, had a great turnout and a good day, and congratulations, Bobby, you pulled it off. So that went really well. Calgary Harley-Davidson, CHD, had their season opener on June 13th, and they nailed it. The weather on the 13th was exceptional. So really, really good turnout at Calgary Harley-Davidson. Calgary Harley-Davidson is kind of a funny deal. It's a great dealership. I think they're number 1 or number 2 in Canada. They do really well with sales. Nice people, good place, really like it. But the building and the lot is kind of odd, and they know that. And I've talked to Cole, who is the GM there, and they're aware they've got limitations. And it's a fairly small parking lot, and it's got funny angles to it. It's not a big square or rectangular lot, and it makes it really tough to do a lot of things. Now, they did a great job with what they had, and most of the motorcycles were parked out on the street, other than some show bikes and the vendors. And the food truck was right at the entrance. The vendors were all inside the fenced compound, the parking lot, if you will. So that worked out really well. There was a good vibe. Everybody was having fun, and it was rolling along. What I have found out, and I don't know if Cole really wants me to share this yet or not, so I won't share a specific location, but I will tell you that Calgary Harley is going to be moving to a new location, and that location is stellar. Big parking lot, lots of room. I don't think there's going to be any noise issues or anything like that involved with events. It's a central location, easy access from any direction. Just really, really good. I'm really excited for them. I think it's going to work out great. And that's going to make events way, way better. They're going to have way more room for doing stuff. Now we'll be able to get into, I shouldn't say they will be able to get into maybe some stunt riding, doing bigger things like that. Who knows? Maybe Cole will even bring in a wall of death or something like that. But they'll have room to do much better events. So, good for Calgary Harley-Davidson. They got away with it. I was kind of kind of worried about the date and everything and the way the weather forecast was going, but it worked out. The rest of the month, like I say, it's been chilly and rainy, and this weekend coming up, there's already been, which is the last weekend of June, by the way, there's already been a couple of rides that have been canceled. We're looking at another 35 millimeters of rain on Sunday. And I don't know what that is in inches for you guys. It's 2.5 centimeters to an inch, and 35 is 3.5 centimeters. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, it's lots of rain, and the temperatures. I think I saw 14 degrees on Sunday. So 14 degrees for us in Canada, for you guys in the States and other parts of the world. 14 and 14 is 28, minus 2 is 26, 26 and 32 is 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Not great. Not great, especially when it's wet. That's chilly. So, yeah, this weekend isn't going to be great. The whole next week has rain in the forecast. Then we hit the first weekend in July, and it looks like things start to get better, and that's when the stampede starts. So hopefully we're going to see a big change in the weather. We'll get some sun. The farmers will be happy. Stampede will go. Everybody will be partying, riding horses, doing whatever they do at Stampede. They don't ride a lot of motorcycles, but they do have a motorcycle jump freestyle set up there. They've had that for several years, and it looks like it's back again. So anyway, everything will shape up in July. I always tell this story, and it's funny. When I worked for Race City Speedway, Ben Doctor, and in the early days of Race City Speedway, we tried running Father's Day funny car shows in June, and we tried running some big stock car races and tried doing different things, and man, you always got bit by the weather. You got rained out more often than you had a successful event, and Ben got tired of that. And I remember him telling us, he hauled all of us into a meeting, and he said, okay, that's it. Do not waste my money in May or June. You can spend money on advertising, show cars, book in shows, do, big money stock car races, whatever. July 1st on, go ahead. But do not spend my money in May and June just to watch it rain. And that was our rule at Race City for, I don't know, probably the last 5 years that I was there. So that's what weather's like in Calgary in the spring. If you're traveling here, I hate to say it, I certainly don't want to cost anybody any rental business or anything. But if you're coming here as a tourist, June is beautiful. Everything's greening up. All the trees are budding. It's the pine trees get that fresh growth on them, that nice bright green. It's nice, but there's a real good chance you're going to run into rain. And if you're okay with that, have at her. But if you're traveling here and you really want hot, sunny weather for going wherever you're going to go, July, August, September that's our real summer here. And of course, July and August being the two best months. So it's a short season. This year, like I say, with all the rain we've had in June, this is going to be a short season for us. But you know what? We'll make the best of it, and we're just about into July, and things will be good. So speaking of events, Karen and I are off to the Bad Livin' Roadshow here in a couple of weeks. The Bad Livin' Roadshow is in a couple of weeks. We're off in 7 or 8 days here. We're going to load up the chopper in the new van and drive down to the Bad Livin' Roadshow. It's a long-ass drive. We're going to be on the road for 4 days, and those will be 4 fairly long days. We're going to stay in Canada this year. We're not going to dip down into the U.S. We're going to stay in Canada, so we're going to be going through Northern Ontario. Lots of lakes, lots of twists, lots of turns. It's going to be an adventure for sure. It always is going across Canada. It's a big country. But anyway, we're off to the Bad Livin' Roadshow. I got to tell you, I love this event. The Bad Livin' Roadshow is absolutely the best. It is fantastic. Lee Sipes is the head organizer for it. What Lee has done there is absolutely fantastic. It takes place at the Frontier Ghost Town just outside of Durham, Ontario. And when I say Durham, I'm not talking about Durham County down in the GTA, the Greater Toronto area. I'm talking about the town of Durham up by Hanover. What else is up there? Stratford, sort of, but up in that area. Beautiful roads. If you're on a motorcycle, beautiful roads, lots of fun, very rural, nice. Frontier Ghost Town, amazing. Guy by the name of Rick owns it. He's a character. We have a lot of fun with him. Nice man. He opens up his property. So what the property is, there's a large treed area where he allows camping and stuff. And it's kind of rough camping, whatever you want to call that. But it's fine for motorcycle guys. Chopper guys love it. It's great. And then there is the Frontier Ghost Town section. And Rick has worked for years to acquire older buildings, log buildings, that kind of stuff, and to make streets, dirt streets, if you will, with these buildings along there. So this place gets rented out for weddings and for movie shoots and commercials, all kinds of stuff. Rick's done a great job with it there. I don't know how Rick and Lee know each other. I don't know what the relationship is. I haven't asked for any detail there. But they appear to be friends and have a really good relationship. And Lee gets access to it, and it's just a great event. It's a perfect spot for a big motorcycle meet. So Friday, everybody shows up. Vendors get set up and everything. Friday night, there's a little bit of antics going on. I can't remember what day the wrestling happens, or maybe it happens both days, but Lee has a wrestling ring out there and books some wrestlers in. Live bands, I don't know how many live bands he has, so there's live music. Not necessarily my kind of music, but live music, and the crowd seems to enjoy it. So you got live music. Like I say, there's the vendor area. There's show bikes in the middle of the frontier town, if you will, which is really cool. It's a nice setting for having the bikes. Photography works really well and everything in there. So just a really, really cool event. And I'm going to tell you that if you want to know more about it or see more about it, you could look up on YouTube, Bad Livin' Roadshow documentary, or you could go to the fellow's website, Luciano and if I get your last name, the pronunciation wrong, I apologize. Luciano Capasso. Last name is Capa Capasso, SSO, I think. Anyway, look up Luch, Bad Livin' Roadshow. He did a documentary. Great job. Just tells you what you need to know about the Bad Livin' Roadshow. So if you're in the U.S. and want to come up and visit in Canada, we'd love to have you. It's not a terrible ride from, Michigan, in that area for sure. Um, Canadians, there'll be lots of guys there from Ontario, obviously. Manitoba's not terrible. Quebec's a bit of a haul. I think we'll probably be the furthest away coming from Alberta, unless there's somebody from BC going this year or something. Um, but 2 years ago when we were there was a guy from Texas as well. So Texas isn't quite as far away as Alberta, but it's still a good haul. Anyway, lots of bikes, big turnout, good show, lots of fun. Really, really highly recommend that show. So that's what we're doing in July here. Other than that, we're going to do some local stuff. We'll try and get out to BC, enjoy some of that this summer. Friday the 13th in Port Dover. Odd months this year. I think it was March and November. So we probably won't make it down to Friday the 13th. But I will put a bug in your ear. Next year, 2027, Friday the 13th is in August. That's going to be a banger. That will be a good one. And Karen and I are definitely going to Port Dover in August of next year. We might even go down for the Bad Living Road show. And if I can connect with somebody and find a place to leave the van and bike, we might fly back and then fly back in August, go to go to Friday the 13th, and then drive back then, rather than driving it twice both ways. So that's something we'll look at. And if anybody down in that area is watching this and has a secure place that I could park the van for a month and a half, whatever it is, a month, that'd be cool. Let me know. All right. Well, that covers events. Let me see what else I got for you here. Not going through the U.S. I want to address that. We have some issues. Love Americans. I think most Canadians are of the same opinion. We have no problem with our American neighbors. We love Americans. Karen and I are really missing a lot of the places in the U.S. that we have gone to and like to go back to, one of those being Vegas. But it's a very uncomfortable situation in Canada right now, and I know lots of people who are traveling. They're not having any problem, and they just feel that there's no reason not to travel. Totally respect that. I get it. There's a large group in Canada that wants to send Donald Trump a message that you cannot threaten us, you cannot disrespect us, you can't speak to us and about us the way you have. And the way to convey that message is to not visit the U.S. And not spend tourism dollars in the U.S. So there's that large group who feels that way, and again, I respect that and I get it. A lot of Canadians are hurt by a lot of the things that Donald Trump has said. And again, the real issue here is with Donald Trump and a core group around him. The U.S. ambassador says some pretty nasty things. Guys like Mr. Besant and Mr. Greer, they say some pretty harsh things about Canada as well. So I understand and respect that some people are really hurt by that and feel they have to take some kind of action. And then I think there's probably a lot of Canadians like myself who are kind of caught in the middle. And we're not on either end of the spectrum. We're somewhere in the center, and it's just made it uncomfortable to travel to the U.S. and a little bit questionable. I have to admit, the things you see on the news, the things you hear. I'm driving a van with a chopper in it, let's say. I get to the border. I don't know how I'm going to be treated. I don't know what American customs officers are thinking or what they're instructed to do or anything like that. So there's a lot of uncertainty around it. So for that reason, we're not going to dip down into the U.S. We'll stay in Canada. It's a tougher drive and a little bit longer going through Canada, but that's the way we're going to go. We choose to do that, and yeah, we'll see. It's going to be a great trip, but it's definitely going to be a more challenging, longer trip staying in our country. And with that in mind, I think we're going to, what I'm seeing in the industry and in, not just in the industry, but in life, what I'm seeing is a lot of people are staying home. And there's gas prices, which obviously we're not as concerned about the gas prices, or not that we're not concerned. We're going to pay the price to go to the Bad Living Roadshow. But gas prices certainly affect a lot of families. Costs, restaurant costs, hotel costs. Oh my goodness. In most places, hotels have gotten very expensive. So traveling is tougher. Mexico is really booked up, and it's summertime, so it's going to be really hot. People trying to avoid traveling to the U.S. I think what we're going to get this year in Canada, and maybe even more so Western Canada than other parts of the country. But I think what we're going to see, and what I've been told about sales so far supports this, I think we're going to see a lot of people staying close to home. And the situation, I think, is somewhat like the pandemic, where people are going to be staying home or close to home, and they're looking for other things to do. And even though everybody talks about affordability, cost of living, whatever, they want to find things for their kids to do. They want to find things that they can do with their kids, stuff like that. So I think we're going to see good dirt bike sales in the industry. And I think we're going to see fairly solid motorcycle sales as people, again, look for something different to do, not necessarily with the kids. I understand that Harley sales have been pretty good so far. Talking to some of the newer brands on the market, people are telling me sales are real strong. CF Moto seems to be doing quite well. So there's lots of stuff going on. And I think that's, like I say, I think that's what we're going to see because of economic pressure, the attitude in the U.S., all that kind of stuff. Canadians are going to stay closer to home and spend their money in Canada, and they're going to be looking for other things to do, which I think is going to affect new motorcycle sales. So that's all good stuff. It'll be really interesting to see how that shakes out. I was going to say a little bit about Harley-Davidson, and I haven't watched a whole bunch on this, and I haven't heard much going on, much scuttlebutt or anything. But Harley-Davidson, back a couple months ago now, I understand did some pretty serious layoffs. And there was some of it in the U.S. It was big in Canada. They really, really trimmed down head office here in Canada. And, I think Artie Starrs, I get the feeling he might be a pretty sharp guy. He might get this. Harley-Davidson is always admired and respected because they're different. They've always done things differently. The motorcycles are different. The culture is different. And when I say different, I'm talking mainly Japanese, but, some European bikes as well, but mainly Japanese. Harley's taken a different path, done different things. And I think in this case, when we had the pandemic and the whole work from home thing started, and we learned how to do things differently. And a lot of companies, when the pandemic ended, seemed intent on getting back to doing things the way they had done them before the pandemic. And I worked for a Japanese motorcycle company through that time. And I think a lot of that it's very understandable. If you are a manager over 10 people, you don't really want to see those 10 people reduced to 1 or 2 people, because that might mean that your job isn't there anymore, that you're not as needed or needed the way you were. So, the goal with a lot of the Japanese companies seemed to be to get back to where they were. I think Harley-Davidson, Mr. Stars, has looked at the ways that we learned to do things differently, the way we learned to use online resources and do communication a different way. And maybe somebody didn't need to stop in and see somebody once a month. Maybe the face-to-face stuff wasn't as critical. Maybe there were things that could be farmed out, in terms of marketing and stuff like that. So I don't have specifics. I'm not really sure, but I think that, like I say, we learned to do a lot of things during the pandemic that really streamlined things and really reduced the travel and travel costs and everything. That's big for companies too. So I believe we got much more efficient. And at the end of the pandemic, there were 2 things you could do as a company when the pandemic ended. One would be just to ignore what you learned, set it aside, and get back to doing things the way you did them before. Or you could look at everything you learned and say, we could do this differently, and it works. I mean, if you look at sales and everything, it appears that we did just fine overall. So the layoffs, I don't like seeing anybody get laid off. It sucks. I get it. I do believe there's lots of other jobs out there, and anybody who's talented is going to find work. So that's really not the issue. But I hope that what we're seeing is that leadership at Harley-Davidson has embraced doing things a new way, more effectively and more efficient, and in this case, with fewer people. If that's really what they're doing, if that's what they accomplish, boy, oh boy, they are on the right track. That's the kind of thing that could make a big difference for Harley-Davidson. So I just wanted to throw that in because I lived through that time, through the pandemic and stuff. And I really think, and I don't want to get into the whole AI debate and everything right now, but I really think that we learned to do some things differently and probably better. And boy, oh boy, if a company can adopt and apply those things now, that's a good thing. That's all I had for you for this first audio podcast. I hope this works out for you. I hope you like it. Please come back and join me, because my next audio podcast episode is going to be on the changes to the Alberta insurance system. And this, may be of interest no matter which province you're in, or even if you're in the U.S., but there are some changes coming to the automotive insurance system in Alberta, and the impact on motorcycle owners is going to be big, and I don't hear anybody talking about it. So I want to gather up some numbers and stuff, and I'm going to do the next podcast on insurance. All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening, and yeah, we're going to be talking to you again soon. Appreciate you. Thank you.